G.S.C Chronicles contains adult content and adult language. So please remove all children from the room. And if you are not in a private setting, meaning if your ass is at work or at church or around some people you don't want to know that you on some freaky shit, please wear headphones. Welcome to the G.S.C Chronicles. On this podcast, we focus on alternative relationship styles, kinks, fetishes, as they relate to the black community and all people of color. So sit back and enjoy the show.
And welcome to the G.S.C Chronicles. On this episode, we're going to have a little general conversation, just some random topics. One of the things I want to start off with first is comfort zone. I feel like all the great things and growth in your life come from...
Well, hello everybody. I am here.
I'm here too.
My name's D.
Yeah, everybody here. Penelope, Tiff, D,
Hey.
M.
What's up? Comfort zone.
Yeah. So I feel like the greatest growth and experiences in a person's life come from when they step out of their comfort zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask M some questions.
Yeah. Great.
And I'm sorry, I don't want you to feel like this is an ambush, but you know, you do have a level of shyness and embarrassment when it comes to owning your own
That should hurt.
desires. The shot was too hard. Too much.
That hurt. Okay, I'm
So-
good now. Yeah.
I feel like you should take this opportunity to vocalize in front of another group of adults your desires. We've had you've been on this is the third podcast you've been on,
Yeah.
and there's been certain topics to come up, and you know I could kind of see like you duck in your turtle shell a little bit. So
Yeah.
right now I'm just going to allow you to express all those
what
thoughts.
specifically.
We're gonna talk about us a little bit.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it. I don't want to make the questions too detailed. You know what I mean? Like, I understand this is a slow...
Oh, like about our conversation last night? Like that conversation?
No. I don't think you're ready to, like,
I mean, I
talk
feel
about
like
that.
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Well, yeah, okay. Then we'll get into that in a minute.
Oh, alrighty.
So, I would like to know... Well, actually, this is how we'll start. So, you had expressed to me that I say certain things about sex and sexual activities on the podcast, and that kind of makes you embarrassed because...
I mean, not embarrassed.
People
it's
look
just
at
like
you.
they look at me and like, spill the tea, bitch. That's what it is. It's like, tell.
Oh, God.
tell. I mean, I don't have no problem telling, but you like put me on the spot. Like,
Well, I feel like if I would have like tried to prep you and let you know, like, oh, I'm gonna try to bust you out your comfort zone, you would have found
Bust
some
down.
reason to like not
so,
come
well,
out
I
the
mean,
room or something.
it's cool, but you know, like for instance, when you brought out the fucking chair, like trying to, how would I articulate that?
That chair's fucking dope.
I thought that was great.
I'm working on mines right now.
Yay.
Yes.
It's
They're
a great chair.
So what's the problem?
I mean, it was just kind of like, oh, we're talking about that.
He's passionate about it, okay? He's passionate about pleasuring you. What is the problem?
Like,
So-
there's no issue with that. It's just that took me by all surprise. Like, oh shit.
So I could see how like the chair coming out and the toys coming out could be a little
Just the chair, not the toys.
Oh.
Because everybody got toys, right?
So
What? What's the chair? What's the chair is considered a toy to me.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like, that's new to me.
I'll
at
buy a
least.
chair off y'all.
Listen, all I'm saying is that it's really great for those who are not are just now getting introduced into those things. So I think it's helpful for Bobby to bring out those things for me because again, I'm a little naive to it.
So, okay, so the chair, just for all the listeners,
The
chair is called a queening throne or a queening chair. It is a chair that
queen,
the
I like
center is missing to where somebody sits on the chair, somebody lays underneath the chair. What you do after that is up to your own imagination. So, I'll ask, can you describe what your first experience on the chair was like?
You know, the little inside joke, I thought I was going to dissipate a little bit just because I was, like, chained to the chair, too. So, it was kind of, bitch, you can't move. My legs fell asleep. So, like, it was interesting for, like, the first time I feel like being, what's the word? Like, kept to something. It was interesting.
Bound?
Yeah, that's the word.
Bound.
Bound to something, like...
Do you feel like it added to any sensualness or it added to the climax?
Yeah, because, like, you can imagine sitting on a chair with a hole in the middle. Everything is exposed. So there's no, like, getting away. So once you're there, bitch, you're stuck. You'll have to figure out how to get out of there. Just need a little bit of this.
So,
Fucking mood.
is that kind of why, like, you put a ban, like a prohibition on the chair that I couldn't use the chair with anybody else?
Yes, because that's a very, I don't know, it's very intimate, I feel like. Like, there are, like, certain sex toys that you're going to share with, like, different partners, but, like, there's probably one that she has that she don't share with anybody else besides her and her dude. You know what I'm saying? So like that's like that's one thing we're not about to do. You can make a whole other one, but we just not mine.
What are you doing?
I'm working on a photo to take for social media.
Always working.
And another thing that I kind of noticed that you felt a certain type of way is when I do express my passion for, you know,
The orgasm.
Your orgasm fetish, you mean?
my oral issue.
I mean, it's not really an issue. It's just, you know, when you get to a certain point and you're like, okay, bitch, I need a break. Things are just like like she said last time, way too sensitive. Like, I just need like a 2-minute intermission. Let me get myself together because when you keep going, I feel like I literally am just gonna pass out. Just pass out.
I mean, I tried to not, like I said, you know, I've tried to like have the quickie thing.
But you don't know what that is.
I mean, like,
No.
we've done like 45 minutes.
Okay, a quickie. That's like 10 minutes or less to me. Like, that's anything above 10 minutes, now we're pushing it.
I mean, I don't know.
Like, what is a quickie to you? Like, you didn't even answer that when I asked you that. What is that to you?
I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour.
I would say a quickie for me is like 30 minutes.
No, how? Like, I don't get how like both people could reach something in 30 minutes.
I mean,
Like, you could probably get one off.
one.
But
I mean, I could probably have like an orgasm in that time, and he could bust a nut, and boom, that's a
Would be
quickie.
cool.
That's like a quickie in my definition. 1-1
I don't
ratio.
know, man.
I've established your son's not a photographer.
No.
He's not a photographer at all.
I don't like. I think I have an issue with the 1-1 ratio.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like that's not good enough.
What is a ratio you're comfortable with?
5-1 at a minimum.
Wait, 5 being like you got 1 and I got 5?
Yeah.
That's excessive.
No,
I
it's
feel like
not.
that's wonderful.
But I mean, like,
I mean, it's excessive, like, if you're tired, you know, for instance, you know, if you're super tired, you know.
You just gotta lay
You
there.
got enough energy for But I mean, the orgasm itself is, like, drains you.
but I feel like sex invigorates you. Like, how long did we go last night?
I don't know.
Like, I was fucking exhausted already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
I think it was like an hour, which was... Mm-hmm.
Because we left the living room like at 3:30, and it was, about an hour. Like, I was already fucking exhausted. I feel like, I don't know, man, if you can't squeak out an hour.
Well, I mean, I feel like it depends on, like, what shit you got to do. Like, if you gotta be at work at a certain time, but you need to bust a nut real quick, like, nigga, we got 10 minutes. Like,
Yo, I had to wake up at 7 o'clock.
Went to bed at 6.
Like,
I don't know, but, or matter of fact, you've kind of seen me go through my emotions when I don't hit that minimum ratio.
yeah.
Can you describe what that's like?
I don't know. I can't describe your emotions, but how it looks on the outside, you look like you literally just, like, failed the test, or, like, you just don't look like you fulfilled what you were trying to do, which I tried to articulate. I'm cool, I'm satisfied, but then you're like, no, this is not good enough. Like, you only, like, busting nut once, and I'm like, nigga, that's enough for me. And then you just go on, you're just, like, not cool. And then, like, the next time we have sex, you're, like, on it to, like, up that number.
Yeah, like, it kind of fucks with me deeply. Like, I don't know, like, I don't even know how to explain that. Like, the way and I don't know really if that comes from what my life was like when I was younger, and, like, all the escorting shit, but it is really deeply rooted in my mind. Like, this is your job. Like, women have to get here.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get them here, you're a piece of shit and you need to cut your dick off. Like, you're just a
Eunuch.
waste. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I try not to keep that in my mind. And I don't know, when I'm with somebody and I care, and I don't get them to where, and maybe that's the problem. Like, I think I need to get you to where I think you need to be.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like, oh no, like, I'm good, stop. I'm like, no, like, we can
Get here.
another 100 yards, is another 50 yards, we can do another mile. Like,
And I also think
there's
it's the
more
fact
behind
that before we started even having sex, like, we had a conversation about, like, my past sex life, which was just horrible. Like, niggas ain't shit, basically. And I think that also, like, plays a part into it. I feel like you're always trying to, like, make up for, like, that period of time where everything was trash.
yeah, definitely. Like,
As fuck. Trash.
I don't know, I take that personally.
Stiff
right?
tongue.
Fuck. God
I do
damn
take
it.
that personally. Like, when I'm with a woman and I know she's had a bad sex life, like, I'm trying to make up for all that lost time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm really trying to. But then I think I'm trying to rewrite a standard because, like, I think I'm the minimum. Like, after me, you should not fuck with a dude who cannot at least deliver what I deliver. Like, anything below me should not even happen.
But then how do you expect that to happen or believe that's going to happen when majority of guys, when they're having sex, are only worried about their nut. And once they catch it, they're like, yep, cool.
You gotta be able to, once you learn that, you gotta go.
Well, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, now it's like, if that's the case, like, nigga, you can't do this. That doesn't work.
I can give you an example on that, right? So, there's a certain way I touch you internally that you felt some things you had never felt before, right? Mm-hmm. So because you had never felt them before, you couldn't tell somebody how to get there, where it was at, how to stimulate it. Mm-hmm. But now that you know it, know where it's at, know how it's stimulated, you can now instruct a nigga later.
True.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how. Like, if you don't know something, you can't teach somebody something. So once I feel like I have done certain things, taught certain things, after me, you know what that is. You know how to go, no, like this, do that. Mm-hmm. I like this, I like that.
Big facts.
You know what I mean? That's why I feel like when I deal with a woman, it's on me to set the standard. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Of what it's supposed to be. Like, anything below me should not, like, if you fuck with a dude besides me and he cannot at least perform at a minimum of what I can, it shouldn't even be a second go round.
Yeah, most definitely.
Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't even know what that is. Like, even the statistic of the majority of women have never had an orgasm, that hurts my soul. Like, it really hurts my soul to even know that exists. Mm-hmm. For us, it's easy. I can stand in the shower and let the water run on me a little bit. And, you know, as a man, we're so simple. I still really don't comprehend why it's so hard to just be okay. For dudes to, at least at a minimum, be good.
I don't know.
So, I don't know. That plays into why I can't really tolerate not getting there over and over again.
I can kind of relate to her a little bit because I feel like when...
Relate to her in what sense?
Give me a second, okay? When you've had experiences with past partners where you don't feel like they empower you during sex or are focused on pleasing you, when you finally get a partner who is like that, I think at first it's a little off-putting, like you're a little shy. Mm-hmm. And then also just going off of like personal experience, you kind of are more tolerant on not getting fulfilled because you're so used to that you're just like, he busted his nut, I didn't get to come yet, but he's already sleeping. Oh well, like it's fine. Yeah. Like, you know, it's cool. Like, you talk yourself into like, no, it's fine. Like, that's normal.
I mean, how many times do we have to have sex before a nigga like, that was not normal, that shit was weak, I'm here now, this is how it is. Like, I feel what Bobby said. Like,
but
nigga,
if you don't, if they, what I was,
I'm just talking
her,
about,
like,
yeah.
If all the men you've been with were at this level,
you don't know
what the fuck this level is. That's what she's saying. Like, you kind of just be like, oh, because this is what normal is. That's why I say I try to set the standard somewhere else.
Somewhere else, right? That's what I'm saying. So once you set that standard, it's like at that point, it's like, nigga, why are you still thinking about?
You still gotta adjust, though. Mm-hmm. You still gotta adjust. And I'm not saying I am 100% like her, but I can see the thought process of what like she's thinking about. And also, like, I think when you are with partners in the past who are not like kind of like empowering your body, like, you tend to be like more just like shy in general. Like, I remember specifically because a while ago, I used to be really insecure about my titties. I thought they were really small, and I thought they were really undesirable because no one had said shit about them. Any partner I had sex with, it wasn't there was no negative comments, but there was just like also nothing positive. So I was just kind of like in the blue, like I don't know how to feel about this. But it only took like one time for someone to just say one little thing where I was like, hey, maybe this ain't as bad as I thought. And then the process begins from there. But I think sexual liberation and freedom is so important because it just trickles down into like other aspects of your life and how you think of yourself, I feel like.
And too, like, I don't know, I just have how would I say, like, my core personality is mentor, teacher, counselor, father figure. Like, that's just what my natural personality is. So even when I'm intimate with somebody, I tend to be in the teaching role, you know. Because like I was telling him, like, the sex that you had thus far before me, some women have had that 20, 30, 40 years, their whole entire goddamn life. You know what I mean? Like, I think, okay, so a little transparency. I mean, there is a tiny bit of pettiness on my side. Like, I do want to be the best. Like, I do want...
Yeah, I feel that.
Whoever the fuck you're with after me, I'm always the thought. You know what I mean? So there is that little bit of pettiness that also drives it too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of what else I want to ask you.
2 topics, Bobby.
Oh, okay. So, after our conversation last night, how are you feeling about that conversation? And
great.
Are there any thoughts that you have that have came up since last night, since that conversation?
Not really, just more of the fact that I was proud of myself for being able to say what I said. And if y'all don't know, I admitted to him that, like, I'm sexually attracted to girls, which for a long time that was something I was like, you're not gonna ever catch me saying at all. Like, you know, so admitting it, like, it felt good to say it out loud. So that way I'm just like, because he'd be like, oh, I see you looking. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you got going on. You're tripping. No, but I be. Yeah, most definitely.
Why did you feel like you had to suppress that?
I think it was trying to, like, so, like, between me and my sister, she's, like, the, like, rowdy child, like, the one that gets in trouble. So I think I was also trying to, like, uphold, like, oh, I'm the good child to my dad, and, like, you know, I don't do this and that, and I'm a square, but I'm not. And then so, like, admitting it was, like, cool. So now that way I don't have to, like, hide it. Because, you know, like, in a way I was, like, envious of my sister because, like, she's younger than me, but she's also had a sexual experience with a girl. And I was just like, oh, shit, that's cool. I'm not going to do that. But, like, in my head I was like, I would like to try, you know, never say never. So I feel like it was time to say it. It's not, like, hiding it is not going to do anything.
Yeah. It's funny because I was also in this house when I admitted that I think I'm bi.
Yeah.
Coming out house.
A lot of people come
Yeah,
out
this is the
here.
coming out house. But for me it was more like I just didn't even let my mind go there to think that I am into girls because my whole life was so much about being straight and liking guys, and it's not like
your straightness too.
It's not like I was ever pressured by my family to, like, remain straight. I mean, I guess there was a little, like, subconscious pressure just because they are, like, a little homophobic. So I think I was just like, oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely not attracted to girls at all. And it took, like, introspecting and people asking me questions like, would you kiss a girl? If you were in a threesome, would you do this with a girl? And I was just like answering yes to everything. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I think I am. And it was like, I had to like come to accept that for myself. Like, that is a possibility too.
I don't really understand what's so complicated. Like, maybe it's just for, like, as a dude, like, you look at something, you're sexually aroused, question and answer. Like,
it felt...
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
question,
just
answer.
simple.
It felt almost, like, forbidden to me. Because, like, I know, like, if a girl walks by me, I will look if she has a fat ass. Like, if she has some nice titties, I will look at her nipples and be like, okay. And I've been out in the clubs and stuff and, you know, danced on girls and it was, like, exciting. Like, I felt myself getting excited, but I felt like I didn't know the reason why because I never thought that I liked girls. If that makes sense. Like, I never even let my mind go there. I'm just like, oh, I'm drunk. Like, I'm lit. Like, you know, that's why this is so exciting. Or, like, I have this one good friend. Her name is Fatima. She's bi. And when she gets drunk, she gets very, very flirty. And she would always, like, flirt with me and touch me and stuff. And it would, like, excite me. And then I would be like, oh, God, no. Like, I cannot be excited. Like, I would get nervous and I would, like, distance myself. And it was just a very, like, confounding thoughts in my mind constantly. Like, why do I keep looking at her ass? Or something like that, you know? Like, why do I keep looking at these titties? But, yeah, it was just, like, conflicting thoughts of, like, I kind of want this, but, like, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It is. And
I mean, even at home, like, my dad, he's not homophobic. He was like, they're people, they can love who they want to love, but it's more of like if you a whole African, like, they look at you like you have an issue if you're gay, or if you like the opposite sex or whatever. They look at you like, oh, you're possessed, you're sick, like, you have a mental illness. But it's like, y'all know how many of y'all are gay undercover? Like, come on now. Just stop trying to front. Like,
oh, wait a minute. You know, another thing besides, like, your face that let me know, you made a comment to me because you thought that I was fucking with homeboy. And I said,
God.
You think I fuck with dudes and you still want to fuck with me? You was like, oh, I don't judge. Like, you know.
I don't, but, like, at the same time, I don't know if you did.
No, a straight woman don't do that. Like, a total
That's
straight
true.
woman is not
true.
okay with a dude being bisexual. That just doesn't happen.
But I mean, I know you're not, but then sometimes you just keep egging it on, so I don't really know. Like, I don't know. Like, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, so we have a coworker, and he said that he fucked our coworker.
oh yeah, he told us the story.
Yeah, so I was just like, I don't know.
Like, I fuck around with it. I say shit because
He gets excited when he walks in, like,
he does. See, that's another thing too. Like, every time he sees me, he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he gets this really excited look in his eye, and it's just because we're cool. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'm a really charming person, and people love to see me. But I say things. I don't know. I fuck around with it because I think it's funny. I think it's funny how people react to the thought of me being gay. That's what it is. Because, like, we have another coworker who was standing at the desk, and she said something, and I was like, I really need to get a boyfriend right now. And just the expression, and this is like a super liberal, super LGBT ally and all that. But when I said it, there was like an immediate, like, reaction in her face of, like,
What?
you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. I find that shit funny. You know what I mean? This is funny to me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really understand, you know, bisexuality. Like, so when I hear people like curious, try, like, I've been in plenty of orgies and been in situations to where, like, oh yeah, I could have slid up in, dude, if I want. You know what I mean? Like, and it wouldn't have been a problem. But there's never that thing in my mind of
let's do it.
Do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I've been in orgies, and because you know, a lot of things are like consensual. Like, oh, can I this? Can I that? Like, I've had dudes be like, oh, can I get you? No, I'm good. I'm straight. You know what I mean? And not really like
Literally.
on some, oh, I'm a straight man. But
Yeah.
No, I'm straight.
Yeah, like,
you know
I'm good.
I mean?
Yeah, not
good.
like, no, I'm straight.
You know what I mean? Like, so for me, like, when I try to understand, like, where bisexual people are coming from, I always have this, I don't know what the fuck is complicated about it. You see a person, they turn you on, that's it.
It's because how people
else?
perceive you. Like, if I feel like people that come out as bisexual are perceived as just being very promiscuous or just they're indecisive. They just want both, when it's like, I feel like it's more than that. But like, that's what I feel like people see.
No, it is. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've seen all of the biases, and I've seen, like, does anybody know what the term gold star is?
No.
So, like, in the LGBT community, there's a gold star. Like, if you're a gold star lesbian, if you're a gold star gay dude. Like, a gold star lesbian is a woman who has never had any type of sexual intercourse with a man. A gold star gay dude is a man who has never had sexual intercourse with a woman. You know what I mean? I've definitely watched the women that I've been with go through things because of being bisexual, like going through the whole a woman not wanting to date them out of fear of, like, they're just playing with them, they can't be serious, they're gonna go back and forth. And I got a whole bunch of, you know, female partners, like, they'll go into relationships with women hiding the fact that they still are attracted to men because they know that gives a deep-seated insecurity to the person of, at some point you could just leave me for a dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got bisexual male partners, it's the same thing. Like, they'll claim a gold star and they'll hide the fact that they're still attracted to women too from their partner, because then their partner would be like, oh, well,
I guess
it plays on the I just feel like I get that logical part of it. I don't get the holding on to the big C, that I'm curious. I don't.
Well, yeah.
No, you're bi. You're just a fucking virgin. Like.
I feel like a lot of people say that when they're kind of like not like evenly bisexual, like you like they don't like guys and girls equally, because I don't like, I like guys more than girls. I would never like marry a woman and like start a family with a woman.
Are you sure about that?
I don't feel a desire to do that at all.
So the spectrum, this is how the spectrum goes. You have, say you got a bisexual woman. You have bisexual women who prefer relationships with men but who like to also sleep with women. You have bisexual women who prefer relationships with women but who also like to sleep with men. Then you have bisexual women are equal down the line.
Yeah.
They will have just an equal committed relationship with a man or a woman. And it's the same on the male counterpart. So I don't really have any skin in the game, but I don't really think it's like one way is wrong and one way is not. You know what I mean? Like, I think how you handle it determines more on some right and wrong shit than how you are with it.
Yeah, and another thing I've noticed about like realizing that I'm bi is, for some reason I feel like approaching a woman and like flirting with a woman is like different than a guy. Like if I see a girl that I am attracted to, or that maybe I like sense that they're like flirting with me, I feel like a little ass kid in like my freshman year of high school. Like, I don't know how to react to it. Like, I feel like I'm so experienced with men. Like, I'm so confident in my ability. And then when it switches to girls, even though I am a woman and I have a woman's body and I have all the fucking parts of a woman. Like, I know what I like. But when it comes to, like, another one, I'm just, like, a little ass baby. Like, I feel like a little squirrel. I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
Because you haven't developed that social skill. Like, you've developed, since you started messing with dudes probably around puberty, you've developed the social ineptitude to be able to handle, like, male-female interaction. Now it's on you to develop what that is with women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to jump in the water. You got to start, you know, having conversations and seeing what that flirting is like, what that dating process and that asking out, what that is.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, it's not, it is kind of scary. Like, I don't want to say scary, but it's like unnerving. Like, I feel like, damn bitch, like, you should already know this shit.
Ego is on the line. That's
it is.
Because most women know the level of rejection that they would get from men is next to nothing. I don't give a shit how ugly
That's
a
true.
woman is.
That's true.
But as a woman, talking to another woman, you know the level of rejection you could receive is way higher.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we reject guys just like that. So it's like.
Yeah, that's true. So it's like I already know.
Like,
a woman
it's
can
way
reject your ass in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Your hair was off because women are very detailed. Your hair was off that day.
One
your
eyebrow
nails hadn't been done in 2 weeks.
Just,
you know what I mean? Like, it could be anything to make her go, nah, I'm good.
Exactly, yeah. I just don't know why that's just so different.
I mean,
I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Talking. Just talking. When you see a woman that you're attracted to, try what men do.
But it's like,
junior
how do
high.
you know?
Hi, what's your name?
But I mean, that's so like. Yeah, no.
And then you learn from there.
I wish I could find like some dominant ass bi girl who would just like teach me the way. I just want to find
because
one.
you're trying to get around the learning process.
Yeah.
Putting in
I'm
the
trying to
work.
skip it right
I'm
now.
just trying to skip it and just be
don't see
bestowed
it.
with the knowledge.
One of the things that I get most satisfied by when I watch like bisexual women interact, now you know what it's like to be us. Now you know what it's like to try to find some logic and confusion and indecisiveness and all of that shit, because you're going to have to deal with that too.
I mean, but I feel like it also depends on, like, if you're a bisexual girl, what type of girl you're attracted to.
True.
So, like, I'm not attracted to, like, a stud or a dyke. That's just
Me neither.
not at all.
Me neither.
So then it's like, if you're attracted to a girl who's just like you, you already know what's going through their mind, and you already, like, can plan out what's going to happen. If it goes good, if it goes bad, you're just like, fuck. You're just overthinking the whole entire thing, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm not going to try this today. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Next month.
Yeah. That's true.
So the second part of what I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about the discussion we had about a triad situation?
Once we actually had a discussion about it, is what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Okay.
I'm in the same situation right now.
Wait, let me pre this.
Let
Let me pre this,
yeah.
right? So our conversation last night, no, back that up. A lot of our conversations was more in the mindset of I would have a partner separate over here, and then at some point, if she wanted, she would have a partner over there. I'm more of a round table person. I don't really like having a partner that I don't share with my other partner. So last night, when she came out, that totally changed the conversation from, oh, that person over there and that person over there to a us nuclear, you know, to a more polyfidelity triad situation. So with a day to think about that conversation and that, I would like to know what your thoughts are on that.
I mean,
Same.
I guess it just opened up, like, more perspective, because, like, when we initially had the conversation of, like, me, like, trying the poly thing, it would be like, oh, okay, cool, you can have a girlfriend, but, like, I don't want no part of that. Like, that's y'all's business. Like, what y'all do is y'all business. Like, don't come and talk to me about this, that, and the third. Like, I don't want to hear about it. It's like, nah. And then the conversation after, like, I told him I like girls yesterday or sexually attracted was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, there could be 3 of us and we could, like, be equal in that triad is what you called it.
Yeah.
And there would be, like, no issue because, like I said, like, I was watching a lot of, like, videos on, like, poly people, and they're like, I don't know, it just makes more sense because they address issues, like, as soon as they happen. They don't, like, brush it under, like, the rug. They don't let one of the partners be like, oh, no, I'm fine. Like, no, it's like, we're having this conversation now. And I didn't think about that. I was thinking about more of the fact, like, oh, he just wants to have another girlfriend because I don't fulfill something. And it's like, it's not necessarily I don't fulfill something. It's just like
different.
It's just different. So like, and it also like creates another realm of freedom. I feel like for me, like, for instance, like if a guy texts me and like I can respond, I wouldn't feel bad. So like responding. So if I was in a monogamous relationship and a guy texts me, that's a no. You don't text back. You don't acknowledge. But like a guy I used to talk to hit me up and I responded and I didn't feel bad for responding because, like that comfortability and like that he installed, he was like, oh yeah, like he texts girls, I don't trip, so it's just more of like understanding like how it all works. And like just because somebody else is like, I guess my whole entire thing is mainly using jealousy as a crutch to not, because if you have a crutch for things, it's just so much easier to just say you're not going to do them because you have this crutch.
Mm-hmm.
So like removing that was like, oh bitch, you have no crutch. You have to conversate. You have to articulate how you feel and not toss it to the side or just keep it to yourself, which that's something I do a lot. It's like if I have an issue or I feel some type of way, I'm just like, okay, yeah, nope, we're not talking about this. Like, it's whatever to me, so it's like making it easier to conversate, to like have like uncomfortable conversations or just bring up like things that I feel like if I was dating somebody else, that conversation would end everything, so more perspective.
And too, like when he first texts you, like it took a minute for you, I guess, to trust what I was saying, that we can talk about this. Like you can express how you feel about this dude, what you're thinking and feeling about this situation, that you can either tell him no or yes, or whatever your boundary is that you want to place for whatever it is between you and this guy. And you're allowed to talk about that and process through that without fear or pressure, because it's, even if you decided to spend time with him or just try to have a friendship, like there's no fear of repercussions for having that. I think that allows a person to really have a more healthier movement. Because like you said, in a monogamous relationship, like an ex or something texts you and you're not allowed to respond, you never really process how you feel about that person, if you're really over them, if you still have some lingering feelings or anything like that. I would prefer my partner to process through what they feel for somebody rather than trying to just hold that in and not really figure out what that is. You know what I'm saying? Because too, when you do that in a monogamous situation, like the shit can build up in you so much to where you begin to think, oh, I want this person, and you in this relationship to go be with this person, to realize, no, I just wanted to fuck them one last time and have some closure. I really didn't want to be with this person.
Yeah.
But I fucked off this other relationship to then find this out. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many other situations that can happen, but that's just one example of what can happen when you are not allowed to process through something correctly.
I mean, which makes more sense. Like, I almost said that nigga's name. How, fuck. Not like he's gonna fucking listen, but fuck, I'm gonna say his name. So there's a guy I used to talk to. His name is Kenneth, and so
like you do realize like there are around 750 active listeners in Oregon alone.
That's fine.
Okay.
Fuck Kenneth. So I don't know. I felt so like I was dealing with him, and then like shit, I almost said his name too. We started talking and stuff, and then I was like questioning.
You realize I say my name.
Yeah.
I say
I
Bobby
can,
on
I
here.
can say your name.
We say
My
Bobby.
face is on everything. I don't hide. Like,
Like,
Oh.
I
don't hide
know how to
nothing.
say it.
I don't hide
But yeah,
nothing.
no. So I started
Oh,
talking to
Bobby.
Bobby, and like Kenneth was like still there. So like he went back to like Puerto Rico to go see family, and then like. So, like, I wouldn't say we were together, but, like, in my mind, we were together. And, like, so he posted a picture of him kissing another girl on Snapchat, but he covered her face. So then I got real mad, you know, like, I went off. I was like, blah, 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 blah. And then so, like, I feel like I didn't process that to, like, the fullest extent because I started talking to Bobby. So then I was like, cool, whatever, fuck that nigga, like. And then that nigga will text me, and I'm like, most definitely don't text me, like, you have a girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, that, like, that. Even though, like, he texts me, like, I know for sure that I could never go back to him or ever have a conversation with him because every time he texts me, it's an automatic shutdown. But, like, for instance, if AJ texts me, it's not an automatic shutdown because at one point in time, we were friends before we even had a sexual relationship. Me and Kenneth, it's always been revolved around a sexual relationship. So, I mean, I feel like it depends on the relationship, like, you had with that person before y'all started doing what you started doing.
Now, when we started talking, what I want to know is how did you feel the fact that as we started talking, I was really open to talking about Kenneth with you and allowing you to process through? Because there were times like, I remember when that whole Snapchat and my shit was like, nigga, how does that make you feel? Like, what?
And I
You
kept
know what I
on
mean?
saying, like, oh, I don't care. Because in the moment, I didn't care, like, because I was, like, already, like, talking to you and stuff, so it was just, like, fuck, like, whatever. And then, like, once, like, it was, like, actually over with him, like, Kenneth, it was just, like, okay, but I didn't process that emotion. I mean, it was more of, like, I wasn't... Like, when I said I didn't care, I truly didn't, but it was just more irritating the fact that, like, he's the one who initiated everything. Like, you reached out to me, you texted me, nigga, you paid for my lift to your house to, like, you know, like, it wasn't me reaching out. And also another way, like, another thing, it's also because he made me feel validated. So then when we started talking, that went out the window with, like, how he made me feel validated versus how you made me feel validated. I was most definitely wasting my time. So, like, I didn't have, like, so much, like, processing to do. Like, now, if it would have been, like, AJ, it's more of, like, nigga, you ghosted, you're weird, like, but you come back every single time trying to, like, get the same thing out of me. And I had it, because, like, after the first time I took him back. The second time I took him back. Third time I took him back. This time it's just like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'll be your friend because at the end of the day, you were my friend before we even started having sex. So that's just where I'm gonna leave it. So, like, with Kenneth, there is no, we can't even be friends. Like, don't text me, don't contact me, leave me alone type situation.
Yeah. So overall, positive feelings about our conversation last night and where we're at.
Very positive.
That's what's up.
Yes.
Tiff,
Yes.
your topics.
Oh, yes.
What about you, Lady T? How do you feel about the triad situation?
I have always communicated with you that I want to have a threesome with another guy, and I want to have a threesome with another girl.
Now, a triad is the relationship.
Remember I told you, like, one day I plan on having, like, 6 white women, like, all in the household at once. and like y'all all got on high heels.
And we're naked.
And y'all naked. And
hold on, what's that guy's name from Django? The old man in the house? You know his name?
No,
it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't.
But yeah, like that's what the triad is not necessarily the threesome. It's the form of like a sustainable household.
I see.
Yeah.
So this is triad conversation, not threesome conversation. That'll be another conversation.
Yes.
Okay. I am open to it. Definitely have some insecurities about that, as far as like I have this thing that like I want to be on top, like I want to be the number one. I like that position. I don't know how that would play out in like a triad situation, because I don't necessarily want to make someone feel like they're less than, you know, especially if we're in like a triad type relationship. I don't feel like that's right of me to make someone feel less than. So I would definitely, you know, need to have some more conversations about that.
What about
that shit? That bullshit you just said. That's Stephen from Django. 6 white women
in high heels.
Come on,
heels,
brother.
All naked. I like them all pale and fragile.
What is up with this white woman thing, man? I'm telling you, you niggas in the Northwest have this thing with white women that is unnatural.
No. Listen. I was in all honesty, I was referring to the D boy game when I was saying that. That wasn't actually my scenario for a triad situation.
He's just big talking.
I'm into. Yeah, I was just talking. I'm into international women. If they so happen to be like Hungarian, you know, and white, then they're Hungarian white. But they have to be international, at least third gen.
Can they be African?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, this is the order.
We need to get some color in there with you.
This is like the order of operation for me. You have like, this is just culture.
Hold on. Pause that. Are you even attracted to white women? Because your attraction to men is very kind of like dark-skinned brothers. Does your attraction to women, is that on the same line, or?
I do like dark-skinned women or black women in general, but I also do like white women for some reason. Maybe because I'm a white woman, I don't know. But I do actually, it's a good question to ask, but I actually questioned that myself the other day.
You're not really attracted to white guys, right?
No. There are 3 celebrity white men that I say all the time are my favorite white boys, because they're the only white boys I think are like genuinely like attractive. Like I was like, wow, I would fuck you. But in like every day-to-day life, like, no. And partly is the reason that they never fucking reach out to me. Like my DMs, the amount of black people who slide in my DMs versus white men, it's like fucking 11-1. Like it's a ridiculous amount of, like, it's a ridiculous difference. And I always tell everyone, like, I'm not against like white guys. I'm not like fuck white guys, but I have not came across one that I'm just like, wow. So maybe, you know.
So have you processed the fact that she may want a girlfriend that looks like you?
Yep.
Now, at that point, do you go, oh, I'm down for this, or no, that's just for you? I'm good.
No, that's great.
She's from Brooklyn. I'm cool.
That's preferred. That's definitely preferred. I told you, for me, I sincerely have an order of operations. And again, they have to be at least third gen. Third gen is grandma straight off the boat. It's either grandma or mom or themselves that are fresh from
this generation thing.
Yeah.
Because we all sitting at this table, I'm second. You're second. You're
First.
She's first. You're 100th.
I'm
Like, as a second generation, like me personally, as a second generation, I don't factor in the generation of a person and me being attracted to what.
I do.
What is the root of that?
I feel like it's more pure. It's pure. It's more pure.
Your homies affect your penis. That's what you're saying.
Huh?
Your peers.
No, like it's pure, like
Pure.
P-U-R-E.
Pure what?
Pure, like pure international, like pure.
Pure internet.
That's the only word he knows.
Pure, what from wherever they're from. Pure Hungarian.
I think we had this conversation last time. Like American women are stupid.
Yeah.
Huh?
That was a big one.
What'd you say?
You do realize, like, people from other countries are just as mixed as people in America.
Yes, I do. I do get that, but
Just non-American.
just yeah.
Basically.
Like Americanized white women are like, for me, they're just
Like, even though I'm attracted to white women, I still have that same preference as D, that, you know, they cannot be like a fucking dumb American white bitch. Like,
yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't have anything wrong. Like, I don't have anything against the you know, American people. Again, I'm American myself, but
certain traits come.
the traits, generally,
yeah,
there's general traits that in mindsets that usually come from
and ignorance.
That come from just being here only.
I mean,
from
like,
here.
okay. See, this is the thing, too, man. Yeah, in America, we may have some of the worst education on the planet, but because I've traveled quite a bit out of this country and I've dealt with a lot of women who were not from here, every country produces their own level of morons.
Yes, I do get that. I do get that, and that's why I'm very particular, I would say. Yeah. But yeah, at least third gen. Black is. I'm black. Black is always preferred for me. Like, that's always number one. And then Mexican, because they're also black too. And then
What?
international.
Because they're also black, dude.
Yeah, you lost me on that one.
Would
but
you
that's
let
cool.
Would you let a Spanish woman say the N-word to you?
No, wait a minute.
But like,
You're saying Spanish.
Mexico,
Latin.
from like Mexico, like, because if they're from the Dominican,
Because I know
it's like,
I'm just
they're
because there's
black.
like
Right.
black Latinos and then there's just like Latinos.
So,
they, yeah.
the
And I feel like
the Spaniard native mix that makes what is the stereotypical looking like Mexican or South American, Hispanic, Negro, Latin, Latino, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Colombia, Panama, you know, these places, Rio de Janeiro, you know, a lot of Brazil. Like, I get offended when a Mexican is like, oh, I'm Latino. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Hispanic.
You're Hispanic.
I know I
Yeah.
don't have a right to tell them that,
But you want to.
But I mean,
but that's how we feel. It's just like when somebody goes, oh, you Puerto Rican, I feel like you just cut my guts out. It's a visceral reaction. Or Dominican. Like when people, oh, you Dominican? Oh, man, like I'm getting ready to vomit. It's not like I personally have I mean, we just have a class.
like how I feel
system.
about Nigerians.
Yeah.
Can't stand them.
I like Nigerians, though.
Gross.
They got turtle shell foreheads.
They're
like,
just.
Oh God, I know what you're talking about. That's fucked up, Bobby.
That's fucked up. And then it's the extra forehead.
Like,
on
doo
it.
doo.
Yeah. I love that shit.
But back to that original question that D asked me.
The triad thing.
I'm open to it. Definitely needs some warming up though. Definitely would rather just like kick it as a group first You know, before I would even be like, well, let's all just move in together. But I would definitely need some warming up to that, just because of the certain ways that I conduct myself, even in a poly relationship. So I would need like some warming up to that. But I'm open to it. There are doubts that I have, like the intentions of the other girl.
Like, you guys realize there's a dating process to that. You know what I mean? Like,
damn, like, nah, we're just going one day. Hey, everybody, let's. We just
I'm
met.
just
like,
saying,
everybody, let's move in.
Looking from the outside, and it seems like, oh, you look, and then you look, and then you, like, there is a dating, like a look together, date together process.
I think that would make me feel a lot more comfortable if it was like a together process. Like, even if like the first time we would meet that person, it would be together. That would make me feel, if that was like our end goal is like a triad, then yeah. Mm-hmm.
I told you already. I'm trying to have 3 wives.
Well, you gotta have the energy for 3 wives.
The fact is, one wife leave, she can take half, right? Because even though you can't legally marry, I had 3 wives. I'm telling you, I was legally married to Carrie. Rachel and Adrian, we were common law. One woman can leave you and take half. Now you left with 50% of your shit. The second woman can leave and take half of that. Now you're left with
a quarter.
If he had friends, he would have more.
And then at the end of that, you could have nothing. So you may want to think about that, because a lot of men are on some, oh, I want this many wives and da-da-da.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard
better
that.
think about the repercussions if that goes bad. It's one thing to have 3 girlfriends. It's one thing to have 3 wives. Because once you hit that common law mark, Oregon is a community property state. So is Washington. So you would have to literally leave the whole entire Northwest to find a state that was not community property. California is still a community property state. These are the legalities you need to think about.
Oh, Indiana.
I don't know.
I moved to Indiana.
Because I think it's only 10 states in the U.S. that are not community property.
Hopefully Indiana.
Why Indiana?
What is?
Because Michael Jackson from there? Is that what that is?
It's because it's the home of the Indianapolis Colts.
That's football, right?
My football team.
Oh,
yeah.
That's football, okay, wait a minute. So we were going on to her 2 topics before you had came
Yeah, let's hear it.
So what were your 2 topics?
All right, let me pull it up.
Hold on. Matter of fact, we'll take a break and we'll be right back. And we are back. So we're going to get into Lady T's topic.
My topic is, why does anxiety make insecurity so much worse? It like amplifies it, in my opinion, and then brings other, just adds to the insecurity. Like, it makes it more stressful. It makes it feel more dire. It makes it feel like it's the end of the world. And it also, I feel like, progresses it into, like, let's say you have an insecurity, but then you bring anxiety into it, and that insecurity develops into something else you might think about, and then you might think about something else after that, and it just like festers into something terrible.
Well, anxiety is one of those things that creates irrational thought. So if something happens and it touches on the insecurity, and then that triggers your anxiety behind it, even normally when you're going through something emotionally about an insecurity about yourself, like, you're already kind of leaning irrational about it, like you're overthinking it, but the anxiety will take it to such a high degree of irrationality. Like, it will really begin to make up things that are so unrealistic.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you'll buy into that. and then you'll try to think those things all the way through, but they're so unrealistic. Thinking them all the way through just seems to make you more crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, insecurities are one of those things that you have to really ground yourself when you're thinking about them. Like, you really have to look at reality around you, because when it comes to insecurities, whether it's who you are as a person, whether it's like some body image issue or something like that, when you look at the world around you and how the world reacts to you, that will usually alleviate that insecurity that you feel.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like when you talk about how you kind of got over the size of your breast, it took somebody to say something for you to go, oh, no, it's not what I think it is. Other people are seeing something and they're attracted to it. You know what I mean? So when you look to the outside world, it's just like, if it's a body image issue and you look out and you do see all of these people that are attracted to you, that try to talk to you, you allow that to reinforce, no, I'm not unattractive, or I'm not this and I'm not that, because these things in real life show me that I'm not. You know what I mean? And anxiety is one of those things to where it is such a topic in today's society. Everybody has anxiety. Anxiety is really what happens when you are in a situation that you are unfamiliar with and you don't have no information or skill on how to handle it. It's your brain panicking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Panic, yeah.
But to be honest, the more you experience in life and the more you go through things and the more you learn things, the more knowledge and skills you have to handle life, so that when you enter into situations, you can handle them. You know you can handle them. Your brain don't fucking flip out and panic on you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. My dad used to get severe panic attacks. Like, he would think he's having a heart attack. And he would think he's having a heart attack. Like, he thought there was something wrong with his heart. We even went back to Hungary at one point and did all these tests with doctors over there because he thought he had like some heart arrhythmia problem, but really the whole time he was just having severe panic attacks. And he went to doctors who would tell him, sir, you're just having severe panic attacks, like you need to take like a fucking Xanax. And he would be like, no, there's something wrong with my heart, like I don't get panic attacks. But I think that was just his like masculinity. He could not accept the fact that he was panicking, like that wasn't in his fucking vocabulary. I don't know if that is something hereditary. I don't think it is. I think it's more of like something you develop like from like trauma or something. Yeah.
My first panic attack.
But I feel like I get a lot of, like, the more I grow up, I feel like I see a lot of my dad in me, which kind of like pisses me off. But yeah,
I don't know, like my first panic attack, it fucked with me emotionally afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, when I had it, like in my life, I had already went through being incarcerated. I'd already went through being stabbed, being shot, being buried alive, being in the streets, all of these high-risk fucking things. And a fucking divorce and separation gave me my first panic attack. Just the thought of, oh shit, my family is over. Like, I thought I was dying. Like, I called the ambulance. I was in the hospital.
Yeah. You can barely breathe.
I had no idea. Like, because I had a heart attack before, I thought it was a fucking heart attack. I thought I was having a massive heart attack because I had like a minor heart attack a few years prior. Mm-hmm. But this shit, I was like, oh, I'm having a massive fucking heart attack. Like, I'm dying. Like, I was on the floor. Like, it was physically painful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, realizing that what it was and why I had it, I don't think I had ever felt so weak and little in my life. You know what I'm saying? And that traumatized me severely into how I had relationships after my marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was very quick to dump some shit when I felt, oh, I really like her. Oh, I gotta end this. You know what I mean? Like, I just was not willing to be that vulnerable again, and it took a lot of work to accept the fact that I loved my relationship and my marriage, and I loved how I felt being in love, and to have that again, I would have to open myself up to deal with that shit. You know what I mean? So, D,
what's good?
What is up with your topics? What is on your mind? What's bubbling?
We kind of talked about mine's a little bit. My two topics were the first one. Can't remember what the first one was, but the second one was about threesomes. Actually, preparing for one right now. Kind of just been in the works, talking about it a lot, and more recently, it's been like it's about to happen. And so,
how are you preparing for it?
Like, just like conversations and like tests and like all that type of stuff. Whereas, you know, and figuring out just figuring out demographics, I guess.
Can I give you some tips and pointers?
Please. That's why it's the topic. Okay. And especially because you've met both of them.
Okay.
So
think. You see that reaction?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the reaction that you thought. You know what I mean?
When?
What?
When did that happen?
When did he meet?
Yes, you brought her here?
We picked up Bobby from work and dropped him off at home.
Oh, that's so cute. Go ahead.
Okay, wait a minute. Why did that upset you?
Because I didn't know that you were, like, bringing her around and shit. Like,
at what point in time did you think that she was not going to be brought around?
Now, I will say in defense of that, I asked for a ride.
And you just happened to be with her.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
I
thought you
interrupted that time.
Okay,
like,
okay.
No, it's late. The 6 ain't running to my house.
Okay.
I need a ride.
Okay.
I'm just like, this is a part
of
that.
Wait a minute. No, it wasn't no, like, they came through and hung out type shit.
Oh, that's what I thought.
No.
Okay.
I needed a ride.
I just told you, we picked him up from work and dropped him off at home. Like, and plus, not only that, but I thought we had this conversation last time we were on the podcast about.
Nope. No. You didn't.
No, I'm saying about me. Like, even if that did happen, am I supposed to be like, hey, T, guess what? We're about to go kick it with Bobby.
I guess not. My bad. Go
no,
ahead.
But what is appropriate is asking her, have we reached the area to where this person can mill around our life? You know what I mean? Because that is a boundary. And you do want to make sure, like, hey, is it cool if this person is, like, around now?
I can see if it was around her.
No, I mean,
or like her person, like if for me, I'm taking it as Bobby is like you're like, it's not like I met you through Lady T. You are somebody that I personally, on my side, have been with, right? So I just
kind of viewed it as like, for me, I am not gonna bring another guy to my home besides you, like, until it gets to the point where I'm like, oh wow, like, I feel like I want to start, like, letting him mingle with my family and shit. Like, I would never bring some guy, even if I just wanted to, like, fuck some guy, I wouldn't bring him to my house and, like, have sex with him, because I feel like that's, like, my home, like, my safe space.
So Bobby's home.
No, I'm just saying that the way you said it before he had explained it, I thought you, like, are bringing her around, y'all, like, kicking it and shit and here.
But still, what's that feeling? And what? And
like,
and even if, like, that's for you personally, right? That's something that you would do. So what about me? Like, I'm taking it as like that's almost one of those update things. Like I'm leaving my room right now. I'm about to go.
No,
eat breakfast. It's time to go brush my teeth.
No, my initial reaction, I thought, like, I just wasn't expecting so soon that you are like, but you aren't. But at first when I heard it, I wasn't expecting that you're already like I wouldn't expect you to bring her to your mom's anytime soon, like to meet your mom,
which hasn't happened.
That's what I'm saying. When I first was like, what? I thought like that's the type of shit you're already doing. That.
And this is what I'm saying. This is why a boundary, right? So to avoid constant updates is why it goes, hey, Tiff, I'm ready for this person to be around my life.
I don't have to say that. I should not have to say that is what I'm trying to say.
So, this is another thing. I don't think you understand what relationship you're creating, because the relationship that you are creating with her does have a level of boundaries and understanding.
Yes, what I'm doing with that person, to the conversations that we have had, which are physical. So if you guys are doing this, and this, I would like to know. Everything else you guys are doing, I do not care. Which means, at any point of time, the only time I should be talking to you is when me and that person are holding hands, are kissing, are touching, are having sex, are doing those type of things. Not, oh, we're texting right now. What are y'all talking about? Or no, I'm texting so-and-so right now. Oh, y'all are texting? You didn't tell me you guys were texting. What?
That's not even what I'm saying, baby.
But I also told you guys,
that's what you said.
You guys need to write this shit out.
Maybe we should.
That will definitely avoid having to repeat shit.
The thing is, the thing is, it's been consistent the entire time. I mean, writing it out does always help stuff, but nothing has changed since the very first conversation that we've had. It's been purely, I don't want to know anything unless it's physical. That is the only requirement that has been happening. That's been talked about.
I get that, but also, both of you niggas is babies, right? You guys are entering in some shit you guys have never been in before.
True.
There are things that she's gonna go through and do. You can't anticipate how you're gonna feel about that. There are things that is obviously coming up that she didn't anticipate knowing or feeling.
Some of them, to me personally, are a bit extreme.
But that's a personal thing.
And that's why I probably won't do it.
Like, a relationship is a balance between two people.
I get that.
You know what I mean? Like, there are times you gotta make exceptions for what may seem extreme to the other person. And you gotta kind of placate that. Because I know you can admit that there are things you do, moves you make, ways that you are that are extreme to her. And she definitely, obviously, placates that and gives negotiation and compromise to that. Am I right?
I didn't understand what you were saying.
There are ways that you are, things that you do, ways that you react, moves that you make that are obviously extreme to her. And you know these things are extreme to her. And you know that those things she will make compromises for.
I think most of them that she's called extreme, I've had to do something about it and meet that compromise. I don't know if that answers what you're saying, but
I have a good example, and I think this will help.
I don't like to give up. At the end of the day, like,
you just want 100% total autonomy over how you move and how you love.
I don't report to anybody. I ain't never reported to my mom. Always, oh, let me know when you get to your friend's house. Oh, call me when you're safe. Oh, update me when you do this. The teacher or teacher at school, oh, tell me when you finish with your work. And I ain't never did that ever. Never in school.
I'm
never
not
with
asking you to
never with my
report.
parents. Never with
freaking-
my friends. I ain't never been a type of nigga to report my
you
next
take
move
the
or anything with
Stalin
us.
approach,
Yes.
the dictator
No,
approach.
it's not. It's not cool to me. It's not fly. I don't like it. I don't like the thought of it.
Does that go the opposite way? Can she move with just as much as autonomy
She can do
as you move?
anything she wants to do. I don't ask her. I don't.
Now,
I don't.
Hold on, pause that, because now it's got to shift from here to there. Why don't you take advantage of that yourself personally?
What do you take advantage of? What?
Like, he wants to move, and he moves with 100% freedom in what he does. Why don't you do the same?
Well, I know some things are.
Tell him you do. Tell him you do. Because we just had this conversation.
Wait a minute.
Tell him you do.
I know.
think she holds back a lot.
She holds back because she thinks that I'm going to say something. Because we just had this conversation. I believe it was yesterday. Basically saying, like, she was... I believe we were talking about messaging people.
I'll explain it. We had a conversation the other day, or I don't know if this is the one you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure it was yesterday, but yeah.
We had a conversation the other day, and I don't remember exactly how it came up. I can't think of it, but we were talking about how he was telling me that it's hypocritical of me that I ask to, like, know when he goes on a date, know, like for example, when he wanted to meet up with that girl, he let me know, like, oh, I'm, like, interested in her, I, like, want to hang out with her. And he thinks it's hypocritical of me to ask him those things because he doesn't ask me of those things. But but you've made it clear to me that you don't care, and you know I need more reassurance. So I felt like that was an example of, like, a compromise, because you think the things I ask of you are extreme sometimes. And I know in the past I've gotten really jealous, and this week I've really been working on it. I feel like I've made a lot of improvement this week, but I still do need more reassurance than you.
How the conversation went was we were talking. We both we both said to each other, "Please only let I said to her, only let me know when she messes with somebody and it changes our dynamics."
And also if he asks about something, like he wants me to tell.
And if I ask, then tell. Like, if I ask, tell me, or if it changes our dynamics, you should already tell me. She asks, if anything gets physical, then tell me. But other than that, I don't care. I was like, okay. So then, as things are happening, I'm texting other women. She's like, oh, so now you're texting other women now? And I'm like,
I never said that.
oh, so you're texting
I've
other.
heard that tone out of you.
Okay, that's yes. The
Like
tone,
the
yeah.
way you dig. Yeah.
It's you're texting other women now. Yes,
Okay.
I am texting other women. I didn't
Okay.
know I had to tell you I was texting other women. Oh, you're Snapchatting other women. Yes, I'm Snapchatting people. I did not know. Oh, your Instagram, nigga. Yes, I am. I did not know I had to tell you this. Versus the other way around, she's doing the exact same, all of the exact same things, but isn't telling me. I'm not. It's not like I'm asking, right? Neither of us are asking, but she's like, oh, so now you're doing this, and I'm like, yeah, I am. This is something we agreed upon. And I'm like, oh, so she's like, oh yeah, so blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, so you're doing that? I asked it. I wasn't even serious. I literally was laughing about it. I mean, I was literally like smiling and like grinning and stuff when I said it. I'm like, oh, so you're doing so and so now? And she was like, yeah, well, I didn't know. Like, I didn't think that was a negative. And I'm like, well, how don't you think that's a negative that you're doing it but not telling me, but then you think it's a negative when I'm doing it but not telling you? That's what I was saying.
So
to be more
I can use
precise.
my personal. I can come off my own personal experience, right? I grew up in this. These were the first forms of relationships I had. She is an infant, right? I understand what I need versus what she needs is totally different. But I'm very clear that is my primary partner. It matters more than anybody else, right? With that in mind, I put her feelings first, right? Over who else I may be talking to. If I know she needs X, Y, and Z, and I don't, just because I don't doesn't mean I don't provide X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Because as you really get into this poly shit and you're really having relationships with multiple people, everybody gonna need something different. Everybody's gonna have different expectations. Everybody's gonna have different things that makes them secure and makes them feel comfortable in the situation. If you really go into this life and orientation with the this is what I need, so this is what I should be given, all the relationships are gonna go bad. Not just with Tiff, because Tiff is a good thermometer for you on really how shit is gonna be elsewhere. Because liking a chick, dating, smashing every once in a while is different than now you have a second girlfriend or a third girlfriend. Women have a way of being able to have a casual relationship with you and then shit be totally different and totally different needs and wants once a commitment and real relationship happens. You know what I mean? You kind of really have to figure out what the fuck this is. You know what I mean? Once you really define what this is between you two, that really will guide how things are handled outside of that appropriately, right? Once you start to figure that out, you will know how to navigate with other partners, right? Because not everybody is going to be as negotiable. You know what I mean? Like, especially the older you get, the longer you're in this community, poly people have no problem with, this isn't working. I'm sorry, you're toxic, you're unhealthy. And the poly community is small. I don't know how many Reddit poly boards you're on, how many Facebook, but once smut hits your back, oh, this partner was so unhealthy. And then you start to realize, oh, damn, this whole fucking poly community knows that I'm a Stalinist dictator in relationships and nobody's responding to my swipes and nobody's talking to me. That's when you start to get angry. But you've already cast the die and you can't take that back. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how fast a lie will be spread through the community. Like the acknowledgement of, oh, this person likes to have multiple partners and tell nobody. Oh, this person likes to move like this and be lying and hiding and da-da-da-da-da. Because it happens. I don't know how many meetups you go to on a regular to hear these conversations, but man, it ain't good.
That's the thing, though. I've never lied. I've never been in a situation where I haven't wanted to answer any questions or anything.
No, I'm
like
not
that.
saying you're lying. I just use that as an example of how things can spread. Right? Because in poly communities and groups and meetups, unhealthy people are labeled. They are, hey, I've had guys tell me, yo, I dated this girl and this is what it was and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And have had that girl or these girls reach out to me and me go, no, I'm good. You know what I mean? It's just, yes, you're in the largest polysaturated city in the country, but at the same time, that's still a very small community. You know what I'm saying? And like I told you last time, black men, there's a higher standard for us because we have such a negative stereotype on us when it comes to dating or relationships and sex. To hold a pristine reputation, it takes a lot more than the surface shit. You know what I mean? Like, it is better to be known as being a healthy, loving, supportive partner than being, a controlling, toxic, those things.
I think another thing with me too is just the fact that, like, say for instance, when Lady T asked how did the day go, right? How did the day go with girl? So she asked two questions only. How'd it go? Oh, it went good. Did y'all have sex? Yes, we did. It wasn't, where did y'all go? If you would have asked where, I'd have been able to tell you. We dropped Bobby off.
You know what that's called?
What?
Lying by omission.
What do you mean?
Lying by omission is the act of, I didn't lie to you. You asked me this and I told you that, but you have information in your head. You damn well know the other person would want to know, regardless if they ask or not.
Actually, honestly, I didn't think it was actually like if it was like, I took her to go to my dad's, I took her to my mom's. That's like extreme because that's like some uncharacteristic stuff.
How long y'all two been together?
A year.
You know that girl is soft as a Twinkie filling. You know she is highly emotional. You know what the fuck will set her off.
I did not
know. I don't even know her that long, and I go, no. I know him automatically. Oh, she's...
So answer this. Would you have been upset if I took her to JJ house? Exactly my point. You see it? What's the difference? So what's the difference between Bobby and JJ? There is no difference. This is
when I asked like how'd the date go, I was kind of expecting you to be like this blah 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 and we had sex. Like I was expecting you to say that. So that's why no,
that's what you guys did. It's like there's a few things that growing up. This is a few things that I was taught growing up. One is like never tell your left what your right is doing. That's one thing. Another thing is like
toxic.
Another thing is like a lot of the times you should only answer what was asked of you. You should never go around
baby, our
running your mouth.
Also
is
toxic.
different,
No, that's
though.
not. That's like they got that shit from like the police, where it's like the police ask you, oh, so and so.
Why would you deal
I'm not
with
the
your
police.
girlfriend like you would deal with the goddamn police?
I'm just using an example, man.
But that's pretty much what you're saying, though.
Yo, look.
Like I don't want to have to be like it's gonna make me feel uncomfortable if when I ask you, oh, how'd it go? And then you're like, fine. And then I'm like, well, where'd y'all go? A restaurant? Which restaurant? What y'all eat?
Nigga,
like, I don't want to have to ask every single question.
You know damn well. Like, that's just kind of ridiculous.
I know, but
where'd y'all go? A restaurant. For real.
When I asked you how'd it go, you were like, oh, great. And then I'm like, what y'all do? Or I don't even know what I said, but you're like...
No, you asked two questions, two firm
I know, but
exact questions.
But I had to have...
And did y'all have
I
sex?
had to have asked you more because you told me y'all had lobster, or you had lobster, and you said you had some wine.
Actually, how the conversation went was, I seen you guys had lobster on your Snapchat. I said, yeah, we did. And we had wine and blah, blah, blah. And I was definitely, like, expanding. It wasn't like...
I felt like... I just didn't...
Listen.
Like, when I asked you if y'all had sex, you said, mm-hmm. And I was like, mm-hmm.
You gonna look me in my face and say that?
On my dead grandma, you said, when I said, y'all had sex, you said, mm-hmm. You said, mm-hmm. And I was like,
D,
mm-hmm.
let me ask you a question. Do you feel you have more work to do on truly being transparent and open?
I feel like there's always work to be done, but I feel like I'm definitely very open. I feel like my communication skills are very well. I feel like I am always open and honest. I never lie. I feel like, or for the majority of times, I'd never lie. Because I can't say like everybody tells a white lie. That's like
Okay,
that's
sure,
like,
sure.
I don't lie.
Nigga, everybody tells a white lie at least once time in their lifetime.
As a child.
And I'm still a little, yeah. But, yeah, I live by my codes. And they've all...
Baby, I don't want those
They
codes.
always served you well.
They have always answered every single question that has been...
Okay, this is my thing. Because this is the number one fucking thing about any of this shit is really love. That's really what it comes down to.
Niggas grew up around love.
Really?
Yes. When
love don't build castle walls like you got. Hurt does.
That's different. Hurt, that's a whole different scenario. But love, I grew up around love. When niggas don't have lights in the house, niggas can't do this and do that. When niggas only got each other growing up, yeah, you grew up around love.
I'm sorry. Can you pause it for a second? Go ahead. Because you're fucking up my train of thought. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal.
Is it the smacking that's like...
I can stop smacking. Okay, I'll stop in general.
Just 60 seconds.
Can I keep going?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, by all means.
Bro, I heard this noise in the back of my ear, and I just...
It was not the smacking. It was not the smacking. Something totally different.
Bobby, bro, you...
I couldn't think straight. She was fucking up my thoughts.
Right. So, yeah.
I don't know. And then too, like, it is a progression. Like, I'm not going to say I was this way when I was your age, right? Because there are definitely leaps and bounds that I've made in how I communicate and how I articulate and how I handle a partner in my mid to late 20s.
All right, you tell me how you respond to Lady T then. How you responded?
With kid and gloves. Like, it's just obvious she's very sensitive. She's more insecure in it than you are. She needs more than you do. I would just give that. Like, for me, shit like that doesn't bother me. I don't feel like I'm overextending myself. I don't feel like I'm doing too much. With my girl, I love her. I know I'm going to have to walk her through this like she's a toddler. I'm going to always have to be aware that her feelings and her understanding of this and all of that is just not where I'm at.
I get that. I get that, right? We talk about this is these conversations aren't like,
I know, but I fear for your balls, man.
Like I
would never touch.
I have refining.
I don't give a fuck what you say. I literally, in real life, had a dream that I was in the hospital with this nigga because you had cut his goddamn pee-pee off. No shit. I didn't really want to tell you that, but like, but for real, like, I woke up one morning, I was like, yo, man, oh my God. And I was like sitting on the edge of the bed because it was a very vivid dream. Like,
where was I at? In fucking jail?
You were in jail. But like, your mom was there, your dad was there. Like,
your penis wasn't.
You know what I mean? Like,
penis is on the counter.
And like, I'm sitting in a chair and I'm trying not to say nothing because I keep wanting to say, nigga, I told you. Now it's over. Now
you have
it's gone.
It's gone.
That's what I was thinking in my head in the dream, but I'm just really just sitting in the room, being supportive. Family are coming in and all of that. And like when I woke up, I sat on the edge of it. I'm like, yo, I really need to have more conversations with these two. You know what I'm saying? Because you ever watch Snapped?
No.
Snapped is a show really basically dedicated to when lovers, couples, married people, one of them snaps and does something to the other. Little Jewish lady backed over her husband 5-6 times. You know what I mean? Like, ran him over, back up over him, like all on video. You know what I mean? Like, this was a woman who had never committed a violent act in her. Like, this is
just
like. Plus, like I said, I have had relatives to die by the hand of women over like.
I don't like this
sex shit.
I don't like how this is
just,
making me feel.
That's why it's just like kind of like it's not bothersome or anything, but it's just a little frustrating when you just have these conversations all the time, and then it's like, yeah, something still comes up.
But that's just life, though.
It's like I had these it's like I have these preparation conversations, so when things happen, you're prepared. But then when things happen, you're still not prepared. It's like, nigga, what is all this? I'm putting in all this work to make you do this or feel this way when this happens, and then even when we get to that point, it's like, shit. It's like everything I've done.
My suggestion is, you guys need to sit down.
Waste.
Is that how you feel?
Yes, it is.
Make a contract.
When I am. Yeah, a little bit.
You feel like when I get jealous and like overreact, you feel like all your like effort is like thrown away?
No, not past effort. Not current.
I mean,
past
but
effort.
I have also communicated to you that sometime, like today when we were at the ice cream shop, like I had this random thought pop in my head. I got jealous for like 20 seconds and I just took a deep breath and I just chilled out and I was cool.
Which was fine. And you talked about it and we talked through that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Except for what you just did 10 minutes ago. Nigga, you did what?
I'm not perfect though, but I'm like, you don't know, Damari, because you don't feel like me, but it's a everyday battle for me. Like, I have to actively think. Do you know how hard it is to actively think when you get like I know I appreciate all the effort you put in. Like I really do recognize that you've put in more effort for me than anybody else has for me ever. And I'm like grateful for that. I'm so like I love our relationship because it's so special to me. But I still struggle with those things. And I know that you're tolerant of it. And I know that sometimes it frustrates you and I, like, regret it, like, immediately. But, like, I do try my hardest. And I don't want you to feel like your efforts are thrown away because your efforts are never thrown away. I always keep in mind when I calm myself down in my head, I think about the things that you do for me and how you treat me and how your love language is different from my love language and how we express love. And I recognize that. And I know that the way I love is not the way you're gonna love. And that's okay. But your efforts are not thrown away. Like, don't think that.
See ya.
Bye, Kia. That was really quiet of her. Good job. I don't want you to think though that your efforts are thrown away. Like this is. I don't want no.
It's just like all the conversations and stuff we have for what? Just so we can have them. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it, but I don't get it. I get it to the extent of like, yeah, I try to like be open-minded and just think like, yeah, this is how you're going to feel.
But have you not...
When we have these conversations 2, 3, 4, 10 times in one day, it's like, bro, we
haven't had it like 10 times.
Okay, I mean, that's over-exaggerating, but it's like, that's how it is. It's like sometimes we're having these conversations about... To me, at least to me, they feel like minuscule things. Like even when I ask you, like, okay, what's the difference between bringing her here, then bringing her here, and you're like, oh, I'm like, well, so would you be mad if I brought her to JJ house? You're like, no. So I'm like, nigga, they said, what's the difference then? And you can't really come up with an answer. Then that's when I'm like, well, nigga, why are you? What are you getting upset for? And then, especially being that we have these conversations all the time, I reassure you about this all the time, every single day, like frequently, and still, it's like when you do get upset and the stuff that you get upset about, and then because I'm usually a good person to, all right, if something happens, I always like to refer something to something more personable, and like that happens a lot. So like me going over JJ house is something that happens a lot. Me going over Bobby's house is something that happens a lot. So since those two scenarios are equal, then that's why I was like, oh, so you're mad about her coming over to Bobby's house. So JJ's house is just as equal. So let me ask, would you be upset about her going to JJ's house? And so since you said no, then that's why the shit just doesn't make sense if they're literally just the same, but the feelings are a little different. It just doesn't.
But I mean, insecurity is kind of irrational though, and that's what I'm saying. Why don't that's why I don't know. So
I'm trying at times why won't you guys just write this shit down?
Because when I mean this is a conversation that is like.
But writing it down is a 100% solution.
I don't think that's. I don't think that's
having to repeat it.
I don't think that's going to change anything.
Don't.
Not if you have that. If you have been talking to somebody for 365 days and y'all had that conversation 365 days, and the shit still happens, writing it down does what?
Changes a lot.
Don't you think?
So then what?
It's the difference between drywall and concrete.
So what? So when she gets upset, I just send her the screenshot of the contract.
Absolutely.
And then what does that do?
You don't say another word. If she writes down, oh, I need these things, right? These are the things that I need that will alleviate my insecurity, that will alleviate, my bad feelings. These are the things, and you look over and go, okay, I agree to that. I'm cool with that. And then you have your list. These are the things that I need. These are the things I want. You know what I mean? You could literally go, number 6. Text is over. Because now what that makes her do. Wait a minute. What that does is now it's on you to disconnect, and it's on her to work through that shit herself.
That's true.
It's going to be like that either way. For me, written down, word of mouth, it's going to be like that either way. That's why it's like.
Why are you so reluctant? It is such an easy thing to write down 15 things, just as a try. But you have it's not going to work. I'm not going to do it.
No.
It's like black people in therapy. I ain't doing it.
No. No. I'm not against it. I'm definitely not against it. I'm definitely that's something that could be done, and I'm definitely open to. It just for me, I feel like that's some extra shit. I don't really. It's like you.
But it's less than what's happening now.
Maybe it would be easier for you.
These conversations.
I'm trying to say
maybe
that
it would be
also at the end of the day, even if we written it down, the shit wouldn't matter to Tiffany. That. Oh, number 6. Well, I don't care about number 6. You still need a reassure. Like
when
I still
have
need
I
so and so.
ever said that,
Tiffany? We've had conversations, and I'm like, Tiffany, we've already talked about this, and you're like, I know we've already talked about this, Demarie. I just want some reassurance. I just want you to give me attention. Like this is the shit that like you do say.
No,
this stuff.
I tell you to check me and tell me, Tiffany, you are doing this again. But don't you think that in the broad scope of our relationship that I have improved on my jealousy, or do you think that it has no improvement whatsoever?
No, I think it has improved.
Then you cannot say that your efforts are a waste every time that I feel some type of way.
That conversation has been passed already, dear. I don't know why you're still.
What the fuck did that happen? Okay, my bad.
I'm not.
I thought we were still in that set. But
I mean, we're still in that like that kind of same of the same scope of it, but like the the effort's wasted. That's not even. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just the pure sense of like. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But like I said, this shit ain't easy. It's not low effort. It's not low work ever with anybody.
See, that might be my problem because
The only time I can honestly tell you, the only low effort, low work situations you will have in open or poly relationships is just 100% sexual situations. Everything else is going to require work, communication, and negotiation and compromise. None of this shit is easy. And the more partners you have, the less easier it is. It just, nigga, y'all in elementary school right now. You guys are really learning because if you think Tiffany's is the worst that you gonna date, nigga, you tripping. Her shit mid-range. Her insecurities pretty typical. Her reassurance pretty typical. There are so many women who need so much more attention
and
so much more.
And yeah, I'm always quick to say, yeah, nigga.
I dodge that shit like laser tag.
Yeah, this is no. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm very quick, like especially nowadays. I'm very quick to say, yeah, nigga. I'm straight, like, nigga. I could go out and like all my foundation, everything is solid. I don't have to deal with any of this extra shit. I don't have to, like, I can let all of that go, nigga, and I'm good. Like, I will work through my emotions later, of how I feel, like, oh, I love this person or whatever. Oh, I have to let them go. Yeah, it happens. It has happened before. Like, I'm not. That's not something that. Like, that's what I lean towards more than having to, like, especially after I have to repeat myself. One thing I hate to do is repeat myself. And I feel like I've been doing it a lot.
Well, stop repeating yourself.
I am. I will. I've voiced that.
Also, too,
I voiced that.
no disrespect, Tiff, there are certain ways that you do, in a healthy manner, deal with a tantrum.
Okay. Do you, based off of Tiffany's responses that you've been around, based off of the responses that you've been around, you don't think I handled them pretty well?
I don't know, you got a little bit of temper. Because sometimes it'll be like, ooh, nigga, what is you, why is you, wait, what? That's a little much. That's a little overboard. Because there are some times to where you really should have been like, you know what, stop, conversation over. You need to process through that in your own mind. And then shit needs to stop.
See, and that's the thing, though. This is what I'm trying to say. Saying that to her right here is not okay. And I understand that. And
what's she gonna do?
That is like the inner conflict that I have to deal with personally.
What is she gonna do?
Get mad, get upset. Why don't you want to talk? Let's talk about this, please. I'm dying to talk about this. I need the attention. Let's blah, blah, blah. And now it's like I can't say, I don't want to talk about this. Conversation's over. You need to deal with that shit. No, it's, nigga, tense conversation. No, and that's why I said that's an inner conflict for me to be able to go, either, nigga, I'm letting this go or I talk about this. And that's where I gotta really.
There are certain things that Tiffany needs to process through her own. There are certain things that don't need to be placated. Like, was it not the last podcast, but the one before that? When the shots are being fired, oh, what about this? What about that? The looking for the argument. Well, the picture, that was the day. No matter what you said, she was going to have another, well, I thought, or blah, blah, blah. At that point, no, you know what? you need to.
So then I just gotta stop talking to her, because then that's her. This is her. Like, we know that Lady T is a person.
There may be a moment of that.
Like, Lady T, yeah.
Like, if you really feel that these are conversations that have been gone over so many times that you are getting to a breaking point, it's time for her to start processing some of that and self-soothing herself. Self-reassuring herself.
And that's a conversation where it's like...
too many selves in that sentence, but you know what I'm saying.
And that there's always a thing of like, nigga, you handle that, and in 2 months holler at me. When you
you
get that
can still
figured
go
out.
to dinner, you can still fuck, hang out. We're not talking about that. You need to journal that. Ooh, do you guys have journals? You got a journal?
Of course I got a journal.
Okay. No.
I used to, but I stopped.
You need to get one, because sometimes you need to journal that.
Yeah, and I know there's times when, like, and it's just weird because it's like I see it as soon as I say it, but, like...
No, it's you say it as soon as you see it, and you don't think about it. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, like, as I'm saying it, like earlier, my reaction should not have been that big of a deal since y'all already hung out and stuff, and we were planning on meeting up with her anyway. But in that moment, like, as I'm saying that shit, as soon as I'm done, I'm like, fuck. I should have just shut up. Like, I shouldn't have even reacted. But it's like, it's too late at that point. Like, I can't even undo it. And, like, that part irks me about myself because I know that I'm, like, putting more pressure on D and making him feel more, like, fed up with that. And that's what I'm, like, trying to work on. And I feel like this week I've done a lot of introspecting, especially since now this girl is someone who's not gonna just, like, be one and done and just disappear. Like, she's actually gonna, like, kind of be around, and I'm gonna have to deal with that. Like, I'm gonna have to actively deal with that if I want to be here too, and I want to. Because the last time it was just like a hookup, and I didn't really have to think about it after that. I'm like, oh, they had sex. That's all it was.
Can I
Moving
tell you guys
on.
a secret?
Sure.
D. You know why I like this girl? Because she's got a PhD and he's a freshman. He's going to learn so much dealing with her.
What do you...
Her skill in this shit.
In polyamory?
Her control over her emotions and her feelings, her partners and all that shit, far more sophisticated than his.
Wait, what are y'all talking about right now?
Homegirl.
He was telling me that too, that I could learn a lot from her and that I could get, like, a good perspective off of, like, a girl that's polyamorous instead of, like, guys
That's
who
true.
are telling me all the time.
If you can look at her to learn from her and not personalize her and who she is and where she's at and get insecure with that, but purely learn from her, that'd be good. But I'm so looking forward to watching this relationship play out between the two of them.
Why?
Because we all, as men, find one of those a couple times in our life. That we fully underestimate, we fully don't realize, oh, I'm out of my fucking league. This chick is in the major leagues and I'm in the minors. And when she teaches me some shit, I'm going to be humbled. And afterwards, I'm going to be so proud.
I wish I could do that.
The learning. Oh, man, let me tell you something, man. To fall in love, to really have feelings for somebody, to be fully infatuated with somebody who, to them, you're not the primary or the secondary. You're the side to the third. that lets you know just how much space in the world you take up. It's like being on a dinghy, a raft in the middle of the ocean. It's like looking over the Grand Canyon. It lets you know just how much is out there and how small you are in the scope of everything. I see him, I see her, I go, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Why?
Because I've been through those. Like, you see this person and they're interesting. You're kind of more infatuated with what you see of them, like who they are, than how they maneuver and what they know and how solid they are in what they do. And the fact that you and your program can't shake their program. You negotiate, they don't negotiate. Because they fucking solid.
I want to be like that.
You know, they control all of their relationships very well and very fluid. Those things teach you a lot. And one thing about D is he does have a very confident nature. You know, like, what's homeboy name? The Kingslayer? You got women that are dick slayers. It don't matter how good your dick is. Their mental kung fu is far superior to yours. They're called sirens. He would know very well who she is if he would have read the book, because there's a whole chapter on what kind of seducer she is.
We'll be right back.
We're gonna be in the studio, guys, pretty soon.
We are back. So we had an abrupt break. Would you like to kind of explain what happened and what that process was, D?
So I had looked over the table and I've noticed Lady T's body language and her mood had changed a bit. And so I just was like, let's go outside and talk about this. I mean, basically what we just talked about is, again, that level of communication, just keeping really good communication and being able to articulate, what you're feeling, how you're feeling, and where's that feeling stemming from, and where to move from there. We also just talked about like the boundaries and like what are we going to do to be able to establish what's what, how things are, what we like, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it was definitely an abrupt break, but we're back now. I think T's good. T?
Yeah, I'm chilling now.
And keep the train moving.
All right. Question: do you feel like what my assessment of you and this lady was out of line?
Me and what? Assessment of me and girl?
Yeah.
No, I think it was very accurate, actually. I think I am a rookie and she's a senior, and I think the experience is great. That's something that's kind of how I introduced her to Lady T. I was like, she's this, and that, and you can learn a lot from her. I'm definitely learning a lot from her, and I appreciate her, like, willing to take some time out, and be able to be in our group. And yeah, I think this is a positive.
Okay. So with that said, we have had a lot of conversations. We have talked about a lot of things. I want to thank everybody listening for your time and attention, and we will catch you next time.
Peace.
See y'all.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. And if you like the show and you want to help us grow, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast or just the episode that you like the most. And also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or wherever you catch us. If you would like to make a donation to the show, please go to our page at hklogic.podbean.com and become a patron of the show. If you would like to contact us, you can email us at hardknocklogic@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 510-255-4546. Again, that's 510-255-4546. And you can always catch all of our content on this network at hklogic.podbean.com. Hope you come back. Hope you give us another listen. Peace.